Okay, so yesterday for Work Together 6-1, we took a look at our 8-column worksheet and we worked on the trial balance. The purpose of our trial balance is to make sure that our debits and credits equal. If your debits and credits do not equal on your trial balance, do not do anything else on that financial statement. Again, this is the first step at the end of the fiscal period for a business to go through and determine were they profitable, how well did they do, where did all their money go. And the first step is to make sure that debits and credits equal. Because think about it, when we journalized, we went through, we journalized and we made sure that our debits and credits equal, and then we posted. When we're done posting, this is our way of making sure that what we posted, our debits and credits equal. Because many of you have found sometimes when you go through and do a posting that you make a mistake, put it in the wrong account, or you go through and do math incorrectly. So this is our way of making sure after you've posted to your ledger accounts that your debits and credits still equal, and that we're going through and getting ready for the rest of our financial work. So our second column that is dealing with on our worksheet is called adjustments. Now, when we talk about adjustments, we have to deal with adjustments because we use things up in a business. Okay? So here's my example. I'm going to go shopping at Don's, and I'm going to bring Forrest with me. Forrest loves pickles. Okay? So we're going through and he's going to say, Mom, I want pickles. I'm like, all right, go ahead and go grab a jar of pickles. So he reaches for a jar of pickles, grabs one, hits another jar of pickles, and what happens to the other jar of pickles?
Breaks.
Lands on the ground, breaks, and there's pickle stuff all over. Could that happen?
Mm-hmm.
It has not happened, but could you see how it would happen?
Yeah.
Spaghetti sauce? I bet you that would happen. Okay? So businesses have to deal with the fact that stuff gets broken, people steal stuff, and things get used up. In our case, for our business, we have things that are used up. And the two items that we have to go through and adjust because they're used up is going to be supplies. Just think about it. Throughout our fiscal period, I'm going to go through and I'm going to buy paper. I'm going to buy toner for my printer. I'm going to buy office supplies. All the different things that I need to make my business run. At the end of the fiscal period, I have to go through and see how much supplies I have. Throughout the fiscal period, let's say that I bought $1,000 worth of supplies. Now, 3 months later, should I have $1,000 of supplies anymore? No. It should be used up, right? Not all of it, but some of it's going to be used up. And we have an accounting concept of matching revenue with expenses. What does that mean? So in this year, I need to put down the expenses that I've used to match the revenue that I've generated. So that's an accounting concept. I can't wait and put all my expenses in a different time frame than when the revenue was generated. So the business will have to go through and they'll have to do a physical inventory account. Has anyone worked at a business where they've had to do inventory accounts? Yep. Jane, where have you worked or where have you seen it?
Mac Shack.
All right. Destiny, have you seen that? Where have you seen it at?
Tilly's.
Excellent. I've seen it at Kohl's. Sometimes they walk through and there'll be tags at the end. They say, don't count this or already counted for inventory. I've seen it at Don's where different people, they hire people to come through and they scan so they count everything that's on the shelves. Again, just so they have an accurate viewpoint of their assets and what they truly do have compared to what's on the books. So the two accounts we're going to affect are going to be supplies and prepaid insurance. Because when you think about prepaid insurance, the most difficult part for you is to think of prepaid insurance as an asset. We own it and it has value. When I go to pay my homeowner's insurance, if I pay it in January, it is good for a whole year. At the end of the year, there is no value left in that premium, so therefore the value in that account should be zero. So you pay for insurance before it needs to be used in case it might happen. Because if you paid for insurance only if you needed it, who would pay for insurance? You'd be like, oh, I drove for the last month, I didn't get in an accident, I'm not gonna pay my insurance premium. Would you agree? So that's why you pay in advance. So what we do is the book will tell us the value of prepaid insurance and the value of supplies. Now, it's really important that you look at the word because it says the value of prepaid insurance. So if it says value of prepaid insurance, is that how much we have or how much we used? What do you think? Have. If it says we have supplies on hand, $700, that's how much we have. We need to realize that this column here for adjustments, this needs to be how much we used up. So we can determine how much we used up by looking at what we have, what we say we have on the books, and the difference between the two is going to be our adjustment. So we have to do some subtraction here. So when we look at our directions for 6-2, it reads, analyze the following adjustment information into debit and credit parts. Record the adjustment on the worksheet. Adjustment information on February 28th, supplies on hand $325, value of prepaid insurance. This is the number one mistake made in this chapter. People look at this and they say, oh, supplies, $325, and they put $325 here in my adjustment column. That is wrong. You can get your worksheet to finish, but it won't be finished correctly. So what they're telling us is at the beginning, at the end of the fiscal period, we had purchased $456 worth of supplies. When we went through and counted it, we have $325. The difference between that is $131. So again, my beginning value of supplies was $456. I need to subtract the supplies on hand of $325. The difference is $131. Now my question to you, do I have more supplies or less supplies? Less. So what do I have to do to my account of supplies? Debit it or credit it? Credit. So I'm going to put credit right here of $131. But now we have to hold up the train because I have a credit and I don't have a matching debit, and that is an accounting bad thing. So I need to find a debit for $131. What do you think I would debit? Supplies expense. So the only time we are going to use that account supplies expense is at the end of the fiscal period, to account for the things that we have used up. So basically what that is saying is this fiscal period, I used $131 worth of supplies. And that's how I can match my accounting concept of matching revenue to expenses. Now, we need to do exactly the same thing for prepaid insurance. So I take a look at prepaid insurance. It says through the fiscal year, I had $750 worth of prepaid insurance that I purchased. At the end of the period, I now have $500, so I have to subtract $500. So I have used up $250 worth of insurance. So we have less insurance, so prepaid insurance is going to be credited $250. I need a debit. What would I debit? Insurance expense. Right now, those are my only adjustments that we're doing for a service business organized as a sole proprietorship. Now, I will tell you, Accounting 2 right now, they're working on a merchandising business organized as a corporation. They are going to have approximately 18 adjustments that they have to do. So we're just keeping it real simple to understand the concept that we have to adjust for it. Now, the last thing that we have to do is I need to make sure that my column totals here equal. So I have two numbers here, so hopefully you can add this one up in your head.
So we have 381 as a debit and 381 as a credit. Right now we only have two numbers on each side, so it's really easy to make sure that the two equal, but we need to make sure that we have a total at the bottom. And I do want to point out, I did not write the word totals here on line 16, and that was not a mistake. We don't need to put that heading there below our account titles on our worksheet. Go ahead, check your answer on that. And then try the on your own. As you can see, this is not a very long section.